There comes a time. The whole wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives in pain and misery. Never gonna trade our freedom with any mystery. It's affecting our soul and it's killing us slow. With what we've been through, we are far from being good. But we are blessed by Chukwuka Biafra. So we're never gonna give up. We're never gonna give up. There'll be light in the wind of a tunnel. It will shine so bright all time. The whole wide world will embrace us. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can stand us, yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. The windows and curtains, green lights be revealing. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. Sunrise to the black stripe, black strands crossing gray stripes. Clashes upon clashes, many lives turn to ashes. When I ponder and reminisce, the actions I see malice. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. We go carry the cross together. We walk through to Zion. We stumble, we rise. How the victory will start. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? I still wave your flag all over the world. Because the sun is rising. I see we shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. They will know, they will know, they will know. The light shine, the sun is rising. Oh, wave your flag anywhere you are. Yeah. The light shine, the sun is rising. Oh.
Good evening, Biafrans all over the world. Good evening and welcome to today's edition. We are back again. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it yesterday, though I put the post out there that we couldn't come live like I promised. But today we are here, and I want to welcome Biafrans all over the world to this wonderful program. Our Biafrans Remembrance Day 30th May countdown continues, and today is the 9th of May 2025, and we have few days to go. And today we are going to be paying tribute to individuals, but the most important person to be paid tribute today is Oko Kondem. Like I promised, that is the picture on the screen. Oko Kondem was a broadcaster. The man, in fact, he was sorted after Odimegwu Ojukwu. He was the next most wanted man. Please put the picture on the screen permanently, because it's important that while we analyze Oko Kondem, our people will be able to familiarize themselves with him and familiarize themselves with his face. Many people do not know him. A lot of people do not know the the role he played during the Biafra Civil War. And as you join me this evening, please share this program. Make sure that you tag your friends to this program. Make sure you share. Please share. Very, very important. And I'm going to play the voice of Emeka Obasi, who eulogized Okokonde and so many others as well. It's important that we pay tribute and give honor to whom honor is due. Okokondem was the man who handled Radio Biafra during the war, and he played a very big role. Just like you have uh, the media warriors today, that was the role he played, trying to create narratives, correct narratives, and make sure that he tell the Biafran story. And he was a very formidable media person, you are going to hear about him and his biography here. Please join this program, share this program, because it's very, very important that our people familiarize themselves with the story of Okokondem and so many other people, the role they play. As we count down to 30th of May, we'll continue to bring you the stories of our heroes past. Okokondem died in 2003, and here is the biography of Okokondem.
Remembering Okokondem by Emeka Obasi. The words of Okokondem come in handy here as some continue the fight against injustice. We all abhor a system that marginalizes individuals and groups. It is also true that while we cry for equity, there must be a touch of wisdom in diplomacy. With awareness created, bridges should be built and walls destroyed. Okokondem was the most popular voice within and outside Biafra. He was not the head of Radio Biafra, but Radio Biafra was on his head. There was the popular jingle, Onye ndị iro gbara gburugburu na-eche ndụ ya nche mgbe niile. Sasa Nwoke's translation is, the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. This is the message from Okokondem to Ipob. The broadcaster, dubbed Lord Ho by the General Yakubu Gowon's administration, used his voice to defeat the federal troop on air, even if the battle was being lost on the ground. He also drew global attention to Biafra. Okokondem was not Igbo. We must note that. The journalist hailed from Ikoneto in Odukpani local government area of Cross River State. He died in August 2003 and was buried on Igbo Day, September 29, 2003. One prominent guest at the funeral was General Ojukwu, head of the state of Biafra. Battleground was Calabar. Also, in attendance were prominent Igbo politicians from the southeast, including Chief Chekwas Okorie and Onwuka Kalu. The lesson from this is that Biafra was never an Igbo movement. The last president of Biafra, General Philip Effiong, Akangan of Ibiono, though born in Aba, was an Akwa Ibom son. Chief Frank Opigo, the man who named Biafra, is from Bayelsa State and is today Dawai, the third Amadawai of Agiama. He was administrator of Yanagwa province. The most popular voice on Radio Biafra was a Cross Riverian, not Igbo. The war started at 6:30 a.m. July 6, 1967, in Gakin, Cross River State. No, thanks to Lieutenant Gado Nasco, who fired the first artillery shot. The last officer to leave Nigerian detention was Colonel Bennett Ochie, was from Delta State. One of the first ever hijackers, Captain Ibikari Awel Brown, had Rivers blood in his vein. The trio seized the Nigerian Airway flight bound for Lagos from Benin. Awel Brown flew the aircraft to Enugu. Some top officers in the Biafran were not from Igbo lands. Starting point should be Ibiono, hometown of General Effiong. It is also the place of Chief Ntianyong Eban, the secretary to Biafran government. The environment will shock all. There were civilians like Chief Ekuninan Basi, J.E. Udo Afia, Dr. Thompson Ababio, and S.J. Udoho. There were crack officers and soldiers from Akwa Ibom. Lieutenant Colonel Nsodo was described as tough, courageous, iron-willed by General Alexander Madebo. Biafran's army chief, Colonel Abang Okot, was a bravado and was said to have committed suicide when news of the surrender got to him. There was one teenage commander, Edith, who fought in Ozuakoli under Colonel Emeka Ananaba. From Cross River, there were civils like Sam Emoke, Governor Lai Emoke's dad. From Itigidi, Abi, Chief Matthew Mbo, Professor Eyo Basindem, Justice Indoma Eba, Senator Victor Eba's father, and Frank Obot. In the military, they had Lieutenant Achibong, who, according to Madiebo, was one of the bravest officers I have ever met. The young man on wheels of the dreaded Corporal Nwafo armored car, Daniel Lawrence, better known as Pampas, of Argentina, born to a British mother from Liverpool, and Clement Iberi of the Biafran Air Force. There was one Amore, Aribo, from Mpane, Ujib, who was ready to die for Biafra, while his kinsman, Okio Aribo, defected to Nigeria to be appointed Commissioner for External Affairs. Mention must be made of late Pesek Eta Ikema and Silvanus Eta, one of the crews of the Panhard armored car, Ugota Boys. Then the train moved to Port Harcourt to see the family of Emmanuel Aguma, other sons of the soil, among them Ignatius Kobara, S.N. Diko, and Silvanus Koki. The warriors included Colonel Joshua John, Brown Captain William Murray Bruce, Senator Ben Bruce Brother, and Victor Massey. From Garden City, that is Port Harcourt, next stop is Asaba. Then we have people like Colonel Joe Achuzie, who died recently. We also remember the Asaba massacre of 1967 and what followed in Ishiago and Ibodo, Delta State today, is the land of Brigadier Conrad Nwawo, Okonjo Auntie Ngo's father, and Mike Uchechime, and Navy Chief Wilfred Anuko, who was also an army commander, just like Ben Mwachie. Binima and Sam Loko Efe too. Yenegoa not skipped, at least for the sake of Chief Franco Pigo and Major Kilo, who led the 563 Brigade Guard. He was stilled as Captain Ebube. Who chose Nigeria while his brother-in-law George Ozier flew Nigerian Army boss Colonel Joe Akahan to death. So was Captain Chris Obolun, brother to Colonel Gav Okonweze, wife Carol. Onwards to Ade-Ekiti, the soil of Colonel Adekunle and Ayo Fayose, no condemning the Yorubas. They gave Biafra Professor Wolosoyinka and Taisho. Colonel Adebayo helped out after the war as much as Chief Adeniran Ogunsanya. Major Ganiu Adeleke was on the same side with his cause. T.I. Akumaka, Okonkwo, and Obonna. There was also Captain David Brown, the American Red Cross pilot, who was downed across Opobo on June 5, 1968, alongside his crew of 2 Swedish and a Norwegian. Count von Rosen was a hero with his minicons. So were the Portuguese Otto Alves, Manuel Reis, and Gal Pinto de South, among many others. May God grant them all eternal rest. This is Biafra.
Thank you very much, Biafrans all over the world. We have heard it. We have heard it. The role that these men played in defending our homeland. We also had people, Europeans, Norwegians, Portuguese, who participated in the defense of Biafra lands. We even have some Yorubas who also participated in the defense of Biafra land, and we cannot forget them. So as we go on our countdown, we'll continue to research and bring you the information you need to be acquainted with the Biafran story. I like to tell my story a bit because many people believe that it was because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu call that made me to join Biafra struggle. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, growing up myself, every evening, my mother used to sit us down to tell us the story of how the war happened. Every evening, at every given opportunity. She used to see. So my mother was the first to evangelize Biafra to me. May her soul rest in peace. So I live with that consciousness. And every time I look at Nigeria, even as a child, my regret had always been, why did we lose the war? Why did Biafra lose the war? Because I knew that if Biafra had won the war, there wouldn't have been any form of comparison. We didn't have to go through all the hurdles of life to get to where we are today. So my mother was the first to evangelize Biafra to me, even as a child. So my mind was already prepared for the coming of somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whose voice eventually convinced me that it is time for me to make my contribution. So on this note, I would like to open the line because I know there are different people have their different experiences as well. If you tell us your own experience growing up, what were the stories you had about Biafra as a child? What were the stories? Did your parents educate you about Biafra? Did they tell you the stories? My mother used to tell us how they had the news that Onitsha Bridge had been bombed and destroyed. So we are in the season of reflection. We are in the season of going back in history. We are in the season where we open the interaction for everybody to be part of the remembrance process of our heroes who made the biggest sacrifice of defending our homeland. And in the picture here is Okokondem on my left. Okokondem was a broadcaster. And why did I decide to bring Okokondem's story? Because I am also playing that role like every other broadcaster, like every other media personnel in the struggle for Biafra restoration. So it's very, very important that we remember people who also were here in the media before us. Okokondem was not in the battlefield physically, but he was in the battlefield using the Biafra radio. He defeated Nigeria in the media as at that time, between 1967. He was a formidable fellow, Okokondem. And I know many people do not know his story. So that is why we continue to choose people with, to remember people with some elements of exception in them. Okokonde was declared wanted by the Nigerian state because of his formidability in the media and the role he played. The role he played creating narratives. The role he played debunking lies of the propaganda of the Nigerian government during 1967 to 70. The role he played in telling the Biafran story. Okokonde was formidable. And he's not somebody we can wish away just like that or forget in a hurry. He is an icon to be reckoned with. So it is important that we remember our heroes past, because a day will come when those who are coming before us will have to also remember us for the role we played. If somebody had told Okokondem that a day will come where we will remember him and talk about him on this channel, he might never believe it. But today, this is the story of Okokondem. And this is also how many will be remembered in the future for their role, whether positive or negative, in the struggle for Biafra restoration. And we live even in a time, a world where information technology had become so vital that we are leaving our footprint and we are leaving our records in video and in audio for the next generation to see. So that is why it's very, very important that we understand the implication of what we are doing. Because whatever you do today will be recorded in history, just like the story of Okokondem. His activities and contributions were recorded in history. So that is very, very important for us. The number is open, +39 388 177 9665. Can you tell us your story? Tell us your story. What was the impression that were created in your mind about Biafra growing up? Because for me, I can tell my own story of how my mom used to sit us down. And while she was telling these stories, she didn't know that she was planting revolution in my heart. She was just telling the story as part of her life experience and what went through during the war, but she didn't know that she was already building somebody who would stand up and agitate for Biafra in the future. So that constant reminder gave me more reason to participate in the struggle today. It gave me the conviction that the fight for Biafra was legitimate, even though my mother was telling it as a story. But within me, it was a story that built my conviction that if Biafra had succeeded between 1967 to 1970, that it would have been a better place for humans to live in. And that is why most of us have taken it upon ourselves to make our own little contribution as much as we can. So tell us your story And if there is any other person as well that you know their story that made huge contributions during the war, our heroes, if there are any of them that you know, you can also call to talk about them here in this program. This is just a 1-hour program, so we have about 40 minutes to go. So anybody who is calling in have to call in now. Then we'll continue subsequently from tomorrow. So, but today we are putting down the profile of Oko Kondem and the role he played, the contribution he made in the media. He was a man who held Radio Biafra for 3 years. Though he was not the head of media, but the media was on his head. He carried the media on his head. He was a media warrior. Oko Kondem was a media warrior and deserved to be recognized. He didn't die in the battlefield. He lived long until his old age before he died in 2003. And he remains our hero. So the line is open for those who want to. And if there is something you also know about Oko Kondem, you can as well tell us. If you have heard about him before, you can as well tell us his story on this program. So, while we wait for your call, we would like to take a short break. And when we are back, we would continue. Just make sure that as you are joining us, that you are sharing the program. As you are joining us, make sure that you are tagging your friends. Call into the number on the screen and make a contribution. Because it's very, very important that we make it interactive. So, like I said, everybody have a role. While we wait for music to come in during our break time, I would want you to continue to share this program, continue to tag your friends, continue to make sure that others are involved in this program, and most importantly, make sure you call in so that we can all participate in this program, because it's a program open for everybody where people can make their contribution as we remember our heroes. As we remember our heroes.
The time, the whole wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah, they will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives simply in a mystery. Never gonna trade our freedom with any mystery. It's affecting our soul and it's killing us slow. With what we've been through, we are far from being good, but we are blessed by Chukwuka Biafra. So we're never gonna give up. We're never gonna give up. There'll be light in the wind of a tunnel. to shine so bright all time. The whole wide world will embrace us. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can stand us, yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. The windows and curtains, green lights be revealing. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. Sunrise to the black stripe, black strands crossing gray stripes. Clashes upon clashes, many lives turn to ashes. When I ponder and reminisce, the actions I see malice. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. We go carry the cross together. We walk through to Zion. We stumble, we rise. How the victory will start. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? I still wave your flag all over the world. Because the sun is rising. I still we shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. They will know, they will know, they will know. Keep our light shining. The sun is rising. Oh, wave your flag anywhere you are. Keep our light shining. The sun is rising. Oh, keep our light shining. The sun is rising. Freedom, freedom, yeah. The sun, we are rising. The whole wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives in pain and misery. Never gonna trade our freedom with any mystery. It's affecting our soul and it's killing us slow. With what we've been through, we are far from being good. But we are blessed by Biafra. So we're never gonna give up. We're never gonna give up. There'll be light in the wind of a tunnel. It will shine so bright all time. The whole wide world will embrace us. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can stand us, yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag and be proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising. We're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. The windows and curtains, green lights be revealing. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. Sunrise to the black stripe, black strands crossing gray stripes. Clashes upon clashes, many lives turn to ashes. When I ponder and reminisce, the actions I see malice. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. Blood on the ground, this is how we fly. Our beautiful flag, all around the world. We go carry the cross together. We walk through to Zion. We stumble, we rise. How the victory will stand. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising. From east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? I still wave your flag all over the world. Because the sun is rising. I still we shining so bright
Before you, proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland west.
Hello, caller. Good evening and welcome to the program. Good evening. Can you please stay away from your listening device?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening and welcome to BTV Europe.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Ozoma. I'm calling from Ipob.
Uzoma, welcome to the program.
Okay, sir. Well, my experience from what my dad taught me, you know, this name that I was Fulani we used to call us Anyamire. That is where the name derived from, is that doing that work due to the suffering that our people is passing through now. When there is anybody that is bringing water for them to drink, then we be asking them, that is, for them now, they use it as a motivate for us. That
No, but
that
was not during. It didn't happen during the war. It happened before the war. During the program before the war, we had a situation where some of our people were locked up in the palace of Emir. Is it one of these emirs in the north? And they were thirsty and they were requesting for water. You know, so they were telling them to give them water. Yeah, you know. So, but due to the Northerners didn't understand the Igbo language, they now converted it to Nyamiri. So that was where, but it didn't happen during the war though. It happened before the war during the program, where our people were kept, you know, many people were kidnapped, because this kidnapping didn't start today. Isolated, and they were thirsty, requesting for water, and that was where the name Nyamiri, which means give me water, Yemiri or Yaimiri, you know. So, and you know that the northern weather is too hot that when you sweat and sweat, your body requires you become dehydrated and you need water, you know. So that was the real story though. So is there any other
and that one that my dad told me, because that during that war, that them as a young people that is coming up now about 16 or 15 years, that they will be mobilizing themselves. Only that the weapon that they are using is all these local mates, this small gun that they use, that they are trying their best in order to confront them. Just than most of the Nigerian people, they are more equipped than them.
Yes,
that will even true. Be flying, coming with fighter jets with the rest of them, that the people that they have cannot combat with them. That one is also the challenge that they have. That they're also doing their best to confront. That their men they are gingering. Now you know how it is that, because our people are well they are strong. Only that the people that they have is not enough. That is what he still said.
That's true, because on the Nigerian side, they were receiving heavy supplies. They had access through Lagos to the ocean. Ships and planes were dropping weapons for them, and from all over the world. It was a support they got from all over the world. In fact, when Gowon was making his last speech, there was something he said that they are international partners. You know, I don't know if you followed our last program where he made a speech and said that them
Yes.
and their international partners are going to work together. These international partners were their fellow culprits. These were people who supplied them with arms. These were people who engineered the war. These international partners that he was referring to at the end of the war, that they are going to join hands to rebuild Biafra land, were the people who supplied them arms, which is Britain, Russia, and so many other countries. You know, so
Well,
yes.
there was more support. And that one is the one that I have from our leader. When he said that as mean that we continue fighting the war for the next 6 to 8 months, that the war will recognize us, but just that we backslide. And even when Master Jonathan was anchoring a program with one of our veteran, when the man made mention that during that war that they used this 10 bishop to convince people to stop the war. That on that note, the war was ended. As mean that we continue for the next 7 months that Biafra will recognized by the international world.
Yeah, what actually happened was the defeat of the war was not because of basically lack of ammunition, because we are producing locally, which contributed hugely to our arsenal. But what we didn't have, as a matter of fact, was the inability to produce enough food. Because for you to fight, you need to have enough nutrition. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't have enough nutrition. We didn't have enough food. So that food blockade was one of the strategies that weakened, and all the other, and everywhere were blocked. The Cameroon blocked their path. There was no way we could. So it's like we were completely encircled by the enemies. We even have our own brothers from the riverine areas who even joined the Nigerian side to start fighting the people in the mainland. So it was a strategy that was put in place because in the midst of hunger, people can easily change their mind. People can easily. So a lot of people felt it was no longer necessary. It was no longer viable to continue the war with empty stomach. Some people even went as far as going to take bribe, at least to be able to feed. You understand what I'm saying? Some people sold.
Yes, sir.
Some people sold their brothers because of hunger. Many people compromised, and those are the things we must look at. Where did we get it wrong? And that was why we were cautioning our people when they wanted to start their useless autopilot activities, trying to create unnecessary distraction. We told them, you cannot start a war you are not prepared to fight. We should be able to learn from the mistake of the past. You understand what I'm saying? If we decide that we have to go to war, we must prepare to go to war. You cannot just start going to war unprepared. And the war you are even fighting is within your own locality. You are not exporting it to the enemies. The same thing that happened in 1967 to 70, the war was fought in Biafra land. The war never touched Lagos. It never touched any other part of Nigeria, Kano, Kaduna. No. They were living their lives normal. They were living their lives normal.
Doing their business.
Doing their business. And the same thing they wanted to introduce during these useless autopilot activities to destroy our land. And we said no. If we have to go to war for any reason, we must sit down and look at what happened in the past, make sure it doesn't repeat itself again. So, but today we are dedicating it to Okokundem. Have you heard about Okokundem before?
No, I just heard it last time that you played that voice note to them now. The last program.
Yes, so you see why it's important that there are some people who played very huge roles during the war, but they were never recognized. Some people doesn't even know them. These are people that we know. They were people who were even cooking. They were in the kitchen cooking food for Biafran soldiers. Nobody recognized them. You understand what I'm saying? So that is why it's very, very important that we understand that it's not everybody that is on social media that is working for Biafra. There are people who are working, but you never see them on social. And in fact, it is even those that are on social media that are creating problem for us. They are the one creating more problem for us. Those in the media. But there are people doing wonderful job behind the scene, but you can never hear their name, you never know them. So it is very, very important we find out all these individuals. Thank you, caller, for that. Thank you very much.
Okay, before I drop, are you hearing?
Go ahead.
I want some people to ensure that they go back to farm, just as the leadership have said.
Yes.
Because
we are really encouraging
that from this watcher that I researched.
Yes.
Last 5 years, the Northerners, they used to carry their yam for truck. Then used to carry it many, and be coming to this side and this side.
Yes.
But this time around, you will not even see one truck, because I don't know, there's no food in the north or what. If we didn't farm, no way for us. We are not going to.
Yeah, because of the insecurity.
Because food.
You know, there is a high level of.
You will not even see one truck of.
Yeah, there is a high level of insecurity, and because of the Fulani herdsmen, a lot of farming communities in the Benue, because where you get yam, huge yam harvest is in the middle belt, in the Benue, you know. So they bring it down, and you have enough. But now the Fulani herdsmen have destroyed all the farm, ransacked all the villages, and it makes cost of food to go high.
Food very scarce and expensive. Small yam that we see that we be selling 4,000. Something that we used to buy less than 1,000 before.
So, but that also opens an opportunity for our people, because in the midst of scarcity, comes opportunity. So, but unfortunately, a lot of people are still lazing around, believing that manna will fall from heaven. You know, so and it takes a very wise and intelligent person to take advantage of this opportunity and
the good testimony of it. The good testimony of it is that our people are now farming. I just want to let them keep it up, because during this the time that the yam came out for the last time, it's on Chayam that we have been eating here. Everyone on Chayam. They don't feel that on Chayam now have conquered the northern food. Please let us just speak over to farm. Due to encouragement of our IPOB, I myself have also started my own farming.
Just keep doing your farming, no matter how little it is. Even myself, I live here in Europe, but I farm. I own a farm here.
Yeah.
You know,
you are trying, but let us speak.
I own a farm here.
Father Jonathan used to say that it's not something that will be farm. Next year you will say no.
Of course, it has to be consistently. It has to, because you eat every day, so you should be able to produce every day.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that call. Thank you, caller. That was our brother from Igbo. Yeah, that was our brother from Igbo. Uzo from Igbo. So I'm glad that we are reaching out to our people in Biafra land. Many people from the last time we also had a program, somebody also called from Igbocha. Igbocha seemed to be more formidable and They have access to BTV, and I'm glad that we are reaching out to them. We have just 10 minutes to go. Anybody who want to call in, this is the opportunity to do so and make your contribution. The picture you are seeing on the screen on my left-hand side is Okokondem. Okokondem was a broadcaster, a media warrior, and a formidable Biafran who helped shape the narrative and tell the Biafran story between 1967 and 70. And he won. Even though we lost in the battlefield, Okokondem won on the radio and he won on air to the point that Nigeria declared him wanted. Gowon declared Okokondem wanted. This is a man who never carried arm for one day. He never went to the battlefield. He never stepped out of the studio to go and fight. But he was fighting using the radio. Just like we have Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have been able to use radio is synonymous to what Okokondem have done. So you see that the media is where the real battle is. The media. Because your ability to create the narrative and tell your story is what the enemy doesn't want to see. They don't want to hear you. They want to tell your own story for you. They want to tell your story for you. And that is why we have decided that we'll never allow that happen in 2025. With the advent of technology, information technology, and the possibility that we enjoy today through the internet and the social media. So it's important that our people recognize opportunity. Let me see who is the Mazi Ndewo for this special program about one of our great Biafran heroes by name Mazi Okonkonda. It was early 1990s. I was living in Iguacha. If I'm turning my radio in the MSW, sometimes his Biafra program will come with wave and he will say, "My name is Okokondem, broadcasting on Radio Biafra from USA." Whenever I had it, I'm always very happy. Yes, I used to listen to him as well. Uh, uh, I was very much inspired by Mazi Okokondem, and my mother told me much about genocide and suffering. All this made me to always tell people about Biafra freedom. My fight for freedom of Biafra didn't start today. For that reason, when our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started, I didn't think it wise to join IPOB family. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu helped me to bring light what I have been thinking of to do. Mazi helped me to read this message on air because I can't speak because of my work right now. Thank you, Jimmy Martins. That was Jimmy Martins who just wrote us and he told us about his experience and that he was tuning into the program of Okokondem in the 90s. I think Okokondem relocated to the USA and was also broadcasting from the high wave. I used to listen. He was formidable. Anyway, I have been searching to see if I can see his voice clip, but I have not been able to find his voice clip. But I will continue to search to see if I will ever find his voice clip, because the voice clip of Okokondem is something this new generation need to listen to. So I will continue to try to see if there is a way I can find the voice clip of Mazi Okokondem. Before then, let's take the clip of Odumegwu Ejukwu, the speech that he made in 1969, November 1969, in Akokwa in Biafra land.
Cerchi un'auto usata.
So we can round up. We can round up with this voice of our hero.
Proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland world. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion. March on, young men.
That was voice of Odimegwu Ojukwu, and it's important that we remember we must remember we must remember.
As the predominantly northern Nigerian army marched in, Colonel Hassan Katsina.
We are still going to bring you more documentaries, by the way, as this program proceeds, as we count down to 30th of May. We have Enyoma Nwankwo. Thank you, Enyoma. And Jimmy Martins. Elohim bless you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that people responded, especially on the comment section. Let's see if we can read from the comment section. Okay, Jimmy Martins as well. We have Onyi Best Iroko. Yes, we have Ome Penny. We have Igwebuike Onurube Nwanne. Igwebuike Onurube Nwanne. Thank you very much. Aka Biafra, thank you for sharing the program. Thank you guys for being part of this wonderful program. I hope it's not boring though, but I know it is educative, notwithstanding. And I hope that we'll be coming often here to continue to educate our people, to continue to enlighten our people on the roles that our heroes played in making sure that Biafra land was protected against the invasion of the Nigerian state. So we cannot take away the fact that sacrifices were made. And those sacrifices, we cannot sweep them under the carpet. We must remember because Ike Chukwu, thank you very much. And we must remember those who fought. Because just like we are fighting, those who definitely come ahead of us will still remember and recognize us, because history has a way of repeating itself. And that is why today, Mazioko Okondem, who actually played a great role in the media, we've taken it upon ourselves to make sure that we bring his face to our people, bring the knowledge of his contribution. And if we are able to get the clip of his broadcast, we would also make them available for public consumption. Yes, so it's my pleasure to have you. I want to say thank you very much for being part of this wonderful program. And until I see you again, hopefully soon, we'll just keep on reminding our people and making sure that we get you acquainted with the events of this month, 30th of May. And don't forget that Biafra land will be locked down on that day, 30th of May. and BTV will be broadcasting. We are going to coordinate our program globally from all over the world. So stay tuned on 30th of May when you are going to see Biafrans from all over the world showcase their ingenuity, and also they are going to march and send message across globally. And that is our routine, that is our culture here. We make it happen, and this is the work that we have embarked upon to make sure that we continue to educate and enlighten our people and expose the atrocities of the Nigerian state against Biafran people. It is my pleasure to be here once again, and until I see you tomorrow or next, my name remains Mazi Ikem Patrick DK, and have a wonderful evening, morning and night, wherever you might be, and God bless you all.